following is from the Agency for Instructional Technology, AIT.
Color is a powerful tool in drawing. To use it wisely and to its fullest, Paul will describe the nature of color and suggest ways to make it work in your drawings.
Red, yellow, and blue. 3 primary colors. That's all we have, but that's enough. With them and the mixture of them, all colors are made, as we can see in this painting. Red, yellow, and blue were the colors used to produce this painting. But look at the variety that we get from mixing them. Not only the variety of colors, but the variety of shades of lights and darks. It has a predominance of red, but it's contrasted with the blue of the girl's dress and the variety of colors that she has in the flowers she's carrying. I'll make a color wheel. This has 9 colors in it. It can have 19 or 20, but in 9 steps, and I'll start with the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. All other colors will be made from that. So we mix the red and the yellow, and we'll get an orange. And then we move toward the green, and we'll have a yellow-green here, and then a green. Next, I'll have a blue-green opposite the red. Then I have the blue, blue-purple next. Up here we'll have purple, and we're moving back toward the red, so we'll have the red-purple up here. Now, if you look at this color wheel, all colors here that oppose each other are complementary. If you place them side by side, they complement. But if you mix them together, then they cut the intensity or they gray the color. For example, if I use some red here, and I take its opposite, which in this color wheel is blue-green, see how it cuts down the intensity? And you get to the point, if you keep mixing these, any opposite colors, they'll come out to a neutral gray, and you can't tell which 2 colors you use as long as it was opposite. So that's the way we use that. When you have a color that's too strong and you want to reduce the intensity, go across the color wheel and put a little of the opposite in it. Whichever color you are, as long as you're crossing the color wheel. I could move to orange, and the opposite would be blue. So if I put the orange here, it'll be dull, but it'll be even duller when I add its opposite. Color is a visual sensation resulting from light. Light must be present to have color, and color has 3 dimensions. The first dimension is the name, the particular name of a color. Here, this is blue. That's the hue. It could be red, green, yellow, but the name of a particular color is the hue. That's one dimension. Another dimension we call the value of a color. That means the amount of light or dark in a color. It could be a medium red, a lighter red, and even going to a pink, or the other side it could be darker. But the amount of light and dark in the color is the value of a color. Now the third dimension is the intensity. That's the strength of the pigment. That means, is it bright or is it dull? And if it's bright, you cannot go brighter, but you can add the opposite and gray it. So if you weaken the intensity, you're graying it. The amount of pigment, strength of a color, the amount of light and dark in a color is the value, and the designation or the name of the color is the hue of the color. How do we change the value or the intensity of a color? Here's the hue, purple, a particular color, and if I want to change the value, that means the amount of light and dark, I will either add white or black. I can change the value of purple here by adding white, and you get a lighter purple. If I added some black to the color on this side, I'd simply have a darker purple. So that's the way you change the value of a color, by the addition of black or white. Now the intensity of a color, the strength of a color, we change by adding the opposite. And if you look at the color wheel here, we have the purple here. And if we want to change the intensity of a color to a gray, we come across here. It'll be less dull if we add the opposite. So if I take yellow and I add yellow to the purple, to this side of it, I lower the intensity or I lower the strength of the color. White or black to change the value, the opposite on the color wheel to change and reduce the intensity. This is a monochromatic color scheme, meaning one color. One color was used with the additions of lights and darks to complete the entire painting. This is an analogous color scheme. Here we have yellow-green, green, and blue-green, colors that join themselves on the color wheel. We call them related colors. This is a complementary color scheme, colors that are opposite on the color wheel. But it's very muted, and it's painted in a high key with a very minor contrast. Here's another good use of the color wheel. In selecting a color system for a painting, we can start with a monochromatic. That means one color, and I can have red and black and white, no other colors, just one color in black and white. Or I can go to what we call an analogous color scheme. In analogous color scheme, we use any three colors that are related, that adjoin themselves on the color wheel. We could have red, orange, yellow, these three, any three that adjoin themselves using black and white, and you can get a picture. Now usually what we do, we select colors that fit the mood that we want to transmit in a picture. In a fall scene where you have a lot of orange and yellow and reds, we would maybe take these three colors or these three colors. In a cool winter scene, we may come around here and start with the greens and take any three colors here. Or evening scenes or something dramatic, we may move up into the violets or the purples. But any three colors that adjoin themselves, plus black and white, would be an analogous or sometimes called a related color scheme. Now that's the scheme I used in this color drawing here. And if you look over here to the side, I've shown you the patches of colors that I used. The orange, yellow, and the yellow-green. Then I can add black and white. As I cross these colors, I can get brown or autumn colors. Now why did I select these? Because this scene was an autumn scene, and those colors were appropriate and used in the fall where the leaves are changing. You have the greens and you have the yellows and you have the oranges, and when you cross them and add blacks and the whites, you get all this variety of color here. Now I'm still working on this picture, and as I go around the picture and add to it, I'm only using these colors. And as I say, as I cross them, I can get some pretty dark colors. And you can use more blacks if you want more contrast. But let me caution you this. Usually in a scheme, we don't want pure blacks. Always have a little bit of the colors mixed with them, in the same way with the white. It won't seem natural if you have the pure white or the pure black without a mixture of one of these colors. Now, I'm adding definition or contrast, and if I were using paint, I would be getting this brown by crossing the green and the orange and adding some black to it to darken it, but I can come out with the brown. I'm using a pencil here. And with chalk, you can't get quite the variety of values and the strength of the pigment you can get with paint, temper, or oil paint. But I can add to my picture, still retain those basic three colors. Now, if I change this painting and drawing to a night scene, then of course I would probably change I could still have analogous color scheme, but I'd change my colors to be suitable, to be appropriate with the mood and with the situation. Now I'm adding and balancing with more of a toner of green. Quite a variety of colors, but they all come from the three colors on the color wheel and the three colors that adjoin on the color wheel.
Using colors such as paint, colored chalk, colored pencil, crayons, or felt-tip pens, make a color wheel. Then select any three adjoining colors on the wheel. Using just those three colors plus black and white, compose a picture. Since you won't be working with a full palette of colors, choose subject matter suited for the colors you selected.
I recommend the analogous color scheme if you're getting started in color. But there are other color schemes, such as the complementary, where you use colors that are opposite on the color wheel, and the full color, where you can take your analogous that you work on in your homework, and if later you feel more confident, you can develop into a full color. And if you do that, you would add the other two complementary colors. This one we had yellow, and we had mixed with blue to get the green. Now I can bring the pure blues in, if I wish, and the reds. And you have to be a little more careful if you're working in full color. But once you have had the analogous or the related color scheme established, you'll feel pretty confident you have the values solved. Now you're just simply adding other color. And it makes it easier. Rather than starting out with full color, you'll probably get lost. So here now I have the red. So up here I've really added red and blue now.
Paul has shown that the three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, are the foundation of all colors. These three colors can make up virtually any color by mixing. A color has three dimensions: hue, value, and intensity, which can be manipulated by mixing. Experimenting with the colors you already have is the best way to learn how to incorporate color into your work. Drawing with Paul Ringler is produced by the Agency for Instructional Technology in association with the Oklahoma Educational Television Authority.